Would you be expecting these companies, the eventual winners, to also perhaps look at these alternative sources as part of what they would, in the final analysis, what they will be delivering to customers, at least? Because I know, first and foremost, I know they want to provide excellent services, but let's not forget that these are companies who are out there to also make money. So, of course, metering, of course, one thing, obviously, they have to roll out meters, but, there's the issue of revenue coming back to them. They need to also make money.
Yeah, and really, part of making money is one of those things that in order for an organization to move forward, even a country to move forward, you need to make money. And if they structure things properly, what I was just talking about was the co-distribution that has decided that they're going to push energy efficiency. By doing that, which means you will be able to keep your customer satisfied. Because when a customer, for example, goes from not having power for 2 weeks to having power every 6 weeks, every 6 hours, they can start to plan. And when that happens, things also start to improve. The other things that we've also pushed a lot is, we've heard some of it might be happening, but we need industrial zones where power is guaranteed 24/7. Create jobs. The people in the homes can live with 12 hours of power. But if you create industrial zones that you're guaranteeing 24 hours service, both large and small industrial zones, you can have companies that are going in there and they wouldn't have to worry about the cost of manufacturing. They wouldn't have to go to Ghana and move jobs over there. So those are the kind of things that the discourse should be looking at. Supporting efficiencies with things like energy efficient light bulbs and other things like that.
While they're also trying to make money.
Absolutely, because you do make money. In the States today, the government will give you a rebate or a discount for putting solar panels.
Really?
And you actually can produce power and put into the grid. It's a more stable grid. I don't think we've reached that stage yet. But actually, if you produce power like when you're at work, you're producing power, but you're not using it. So your meter turns backwards. At the end of 6 months, you sit down. If they owe you money, they pay you money. But it helps them because they don't have to invest massively in extra power plants in order to meet the same demand. Because at the end of the day, I don't really care how much megawatts I'm consuming. As far as my AC is on, my lights are on and stuff, if I can do it at half the megawatts, I'm better off. And if they can do it at half of that, they are making more money and it's more efficient.
Well, let's still talking about expectations from this distribution, the companies eventually, for those who will be awarded the companies. I imagine that perhaps the average Nigerian is asking, okay, yes, so much has been said, somebody has won, or a group of people have won, others lost out, but at the end of the day, people will be asking how much, perhaps in terms of hours of electricity in the day, would I be getting? Because, of course, we're being promised better efficiency, we're being promised more electricity, which it all boils down to. At the end of the day, the question is, will we have electricity? And if we do, how much of it will we have? And, of course, for Nigerians, it's in terms of hours, am I going to have electricity for 10, 12 hours a day? So in terms of expectations, what can we expect from this power distribution company when they settle down and get their act together and begin to, roll out the electricity, or, put their technical expertise into action?
Okay. Things will get better for the citizens. I think one of the things that we as the advocacy groups, as well as other people in Nigeria, need to hold the discourse to is metering. Metering is the most important thing.
But that will come first.
That needs to come first, but it is not. It is slowly being phased in. But if we could do metering first, which means that if you do not provide power, you as a company does not make money. So instead of me calling the company saying, I don't have light for 2 weeks, my transformer is down or something is down, when they know that the only way they can get their salary or they can get paid is by coming within 30 minutes to rectify the issue, the game changes. So metering is very important. That is the number one thing. And also metering also helps to reduce efficiencies. When people start to pay meters, what happens? They turn off lights. They turn off certain things. They start to have different behavioral
in terms of habits,
patterns.
electricity habits, we're not there yet.
Yeah. So, but metering, if you take a look at most homes that have energy efficient lights and things, go and look. Half of the time, they have meters on them. The ones who are not leaving the lights on.
Okay, so definitely in terms of our attitude towards the way we use power, that should change with this new regime. Now, the federal government has actually promised 75% electrification across the country by 2013. So that gives one the impression that this whole process is going to move pretty fast. Perhaps along the line, they might consider alternative energy sources such as bioenergy, perhaps renewable energy.
Absolutely.
So, is that feasible? Should we be expecting that? Should we expect a scenario where you go home and then you have lights, like we have it, I know we won't get there one day, but we're going to have a situation where we can just have light for like 2 straight weeks, no blinking.
We were there some days ago. We were there. Where the only time we got power off was when there was a lightning.
We were on 160 billion.
No, we were not then. But what happened is, gradually, we didn't meet up to demand. A few years ago, South Africa actually went through what they call rolling blackouts. In 2000, California actually went through rolling blackouts. The governor lost the election then because they were not able to meet the demand. So power is something you always have to be one step ahead of demand. That is really what it is. So it's going to take some time, but immediately you have most of the things in place, it starts to get easier until the company that is providing the power knows that if they don't give you power, they don't get paid. If that principle starts working, then things will get much, much better.
And perhaps that's something the BP should keep in mind as we continue with the process. Now, the role of advocacy groups such as yours, Nigerians for Super Energy, would you be? I'm not sure I've heard, in terms of, how loud your voice has been. I know you're also, like you said, as watchdogs, ensuring that the federal government, keeps to its promise in terms of what it has promised in the power sector. How much more do you think advocacy groups can do to ensure?
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole NGO group, normally when I talk to people who are even trying to provide medicine or medical services or other things as an NGO, I always tell them, guess what? How much easier would your job be if power is taken care of? Quite a lot. So everybody in society needs to keep what I call it, there's a one-point agenda for Nigerians. Apart from corruption, the one-point agenda should be, how do we get this country's energy delivered? When we do, I bet you we can be at par with China.
Okay, on the final note, looking at the whole, we've come a long way, and it's been very difficult, it hasn't been easy because there's been so much rot, so much corruption in this power industry. The rot we've experienced, many people have actually been benefiting from it. So are you satisfied with the process so far? It's not been perfect, obviously. And do you think that perhaps we're still on the right path towards achieving energy sufficiency in the shortest possible time?
Yeah, we are on the path. Because before we were not on the path, we are on the path. And there are certain things that could be done much better. But we really need to appreciate what has been done so far in trying to move that. See, to us, decentralization is the key. 1, decentralize. Number 2, pay for what you get. If I don't get it, I do not pay you. Those are the principles. So decentralization really helps. That's really key. And when that starts to happen, things will get much better. And I really believe that we'll get back to those days where the power holding company will make announcements on the radio and TV.
Before a very brief power cut.
For 1 week, saying on Saturday we're going to shut down from 6 to 12. I remember those days. Long while ago, but I do remember those days.
I have no such memories.
I know.
I was like, hopefully, in my time, I can experience that. Well, thank you.